his magnificent tradition in tatters, Dan Snyder has groveled like a coward and pleaded with King Goodell to not make him sell the team. This past year has been pathetic, straight pandering and overcompensating for issues he long neglected and allowed to fester. So now, as a token sacrifice, Dan Snyder is stepping back from day-to-day operations. For his wife. Which means little will probably change on that front. The fortunate thing is that the Washington Panthers have some semblance of structure on their roster. And with a defense ready to fuck shit up, they should be contenders for the NFC East title. But wait, my friends. I sense a messiah is coming down from the heavens to bless this franchise. By God, it is. Fitzception. The meme that's transcended into a living legend. His reputation grows as great as his mane. And if he's at his peak, it will be a good year for Washington. Even for their eyes, Ron Rivera wishes to quash the true enemy of his might. He knows where they live. The NFC is pretty tight in a lot of aspects. A logical person would just sit back and let it all develop, but I'm an impulsive bastard. I need to make shitty predictions that backfire quickly. The NFC East will surprisingly not change hands again. And it will be Washington that pulls it out. The NFC North is still Packers territory, however. The NFC South, I hate to say it, but Brady and the Buccaneers have it on lockdown. The NFC West, though? That's tough, but I'll have to say San Francisco bounces back if they're healthy. For the wildcards, I'm rolling with Seattle, New Orleans, and the Rams. Once again, many teams can be considered for these three slots. With that being said, I should shut the hell up. It's time for some fucking football. Star-crossed franchises have insanely bad luck and shitty ownership. It's a lot like the sewage pipe bursting at FedEx Field. There's nothing but the smell of feces wafting around these teams. Not to say anything about how they are on the football field, they'll have significant promise this season, but the gods are assholes. They demand a token sacrifice to damn both of their long-term ambitions. Washington's in the lead, so they flip a coin. Call it in the air. They say tails. It was heads. Particularly Ryan Fitzpatrick's wonderful beard. He was knocked out of the game and might be out for a bit longer. Even for the decent performance of Taylor Heineke, the defense just couldn't hold Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense back for long. The name of the game in the modern NFL is scoring points. And if you can't amass more than 16 in 60 minutes, there's a good chance you're losing. Can't really shit on either team here. It was a good match, but somebody has to lose most times. The gods chose you today, Reskins. A Thursday night football game that is somehow intriguing is like reaching into a bag of shit and finding a diamond. For the start of week 2, we get a matchup worthy of the wonders of Tank Division. It takes me back. Yet for some reason, things aren't as planned. Am I seeing Danny Derps not fumbling the ball? I think this is the most stunning revelation of the NFL season so far. Both QBs have been highly efficient. Even the son of Fitzception, Taylor Heineke. Or as he has been dubbed by King Snyder, Vanilla Vic. I thought this Giants defense was supposed to be stout. Why are they having trouble with hand-me-down Heineke? Dude, I could find shit in a thrift shop that could cover receivers better than the Giants. Maybe I'll add that to the wish list as New York keeps sodomizing itself with key penalties. It'll go along with a healthy Saquon Barkley, a real general manager, and hands for Evan Engram.
First down, Jones airs it out, has Slayton dropped.
Make that hands for Darius Slayton. As every Giants fan is now having flashbacks, we reach a stalemate. A crucial staring contest that offers one question. Who fucks up first? It's easily the NFL for their god-awful roughing the passer rule. Sorry, I meant Washington. Why the hell are you throwing here? You just handed them the lead. But fortunately, they're playing a team that thinks the wishbone formation is a revolutionary offense, so field goal it is. Here's a shocker. Vanilla Vic is slowly chomping away at field position to get Washington close to a win. Wouldn't call it that painful. They're in field goal range, but I'd give this about a 4 on the derp scale if they lose. They still have to make the damn kick.
Good snap, good hold, kick is no good!
He missed? Holy shit, he missed! Oh my succulent tangy Christ! Dexter Lawrence II! Report to the principal's office immediately! Glorious victory undone by a fucking flinch! Now the poor children of New York will be even more cynical than they are. You and Darius Slayton, I don't care what happens. For the rest of week 2, you two are locale of the week. Giants, please derp yourselves off a goddamn yacht.
We blew it. Good night.
Welcome to Buffalo, Washington. Aw, you think you're so tough with your Tank Division trophy and won against the derp last week. I wish I could say things could be just as optimal for you, but you're going up against a raging bull. Its name is the Bills. As they annihilate every single aspect of your team and game plan, Josh Allen rampages across the play. The golden arm of his throws darts right between your eyes. They'll take pictures in front of your corpse and sell the ivory on the market. Visceral annihilation is the consensus here. Buffalo destroys any shred of hope the Reskins had from week 2. It just becomes a massive party by the second half. It was that much of a beatdown. In hindsight, the Steelers didn't just defeat the Bills in week 1. They may have awoken a sleeping giant. Atlanta had their inexplicable win against an opponent they were expected to lose to, and that seemingly satisfies them on the defensive side of the ball. Then again, the Falcons' defense has been terrible for a while now. It holds back their offense from greatness. Here I am saying that Matt Ryan is declining hard and is possibly cooked, and he comes back with this. Who knew that Cordarrelle Patterson still had these kinds of games left in him? It's like he's back at Tennessee. So in front of this sparse crowd at Goatsy Stadium, you'd think the fans would leave with a win and a Home Depot gift card or something? Oh, you poor child. You don't know the Falcons' love of imploding. What other team could make Taylor Heineke look like Tom Brady? Atlanta, that's who. Heineke played his goddamn heart out, but the Falcons do themselves no favors. Even up by 8 with a few minutes left in the fourth quarter, you know the inevitable is coming. Chase Young committed one of the most heinous assaults on a quarterback in NFL history. How dare he touch a player and interrupt offense? Doesn't he know that's forbidden these days? But even then, you could smell it in the air. The opposing comeback. The collapse. The choke.
Heineke all day to throw. Nobody open. Now McKissick pops free, and he found him. McKissick runs through the tackle, down the sideline. McKissick going airborne.
I feel nothing. There's not a single fuck I have about another Falcon punch at home. Do you want me to pretend to be enamored by blowing an 88.2% chance of winning? That's amateur shit for Atlanta. This isn't failure. It's addiction to failure. This self-destructive behavior only helps your division rivals. Get help, Falcons. I beg of you.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
The Saints are such an enigmatic squad this year. It seems they go in a pattern. Great game, really shitty game. Great game, really shitty game. So by this method, they'll go into a half-full FedEx field and expose a fraudulent defense in the Reskins. I get they have Taylor Heineke a QB and he has his limitations, but what the hell happened here? Where's that dominant front four? Where's the secondary that shut bitches down left and right? Why is there an uncontested fucking Hail Mary giving New Orleans the lead at half? Watching the DEA publicly raid the offices of a fucking team trainer reveals you haven't shed the shithole status. You merely threw a veil on it. When a team gives us this kind of shit, they deserve to lose. Sorry, I don't make the rules. But what do we do about New Orleans, though? They have talent and intrigue, but I don't know how to gauge them with their raging inconsistency. Split it down the middle? Chiefs are such fucking ass this season. Everyone's fawning over their talent and Mahomes and Andy Reid, but I see right through them. And you should as well. The Reskins are many things this year. A good football team does not appear to be one of them. Garbage play all around, Mahomes making careless mistake after careless mistake, a defense that only exists to be a background character to an offensive show? This isn't a fucking Super Bowl contender, this is a shell team that exists to put on a front of success. Tell me, should I feel good that the final result is deceiving? Wow, the Chiefs played for about 20 minutes. Let's all suck their dick because of talent. Plan the goddamn parade down Grand Boulevard. Don't worry though, their time for retribution will come. And it will be relentless. On the other side, Washington is now sweating bullets. Their organization has been exposed again and the public is breathing down their neck for that damn good culture of theirs. Dan Snyder stews in his not office. He needs something to get the heat off the email scandal that's plagued the football world as of late. Then the light bulb goes off. Hey, you know what would get us goodwill? We're tiring Sean Taylor's number this week. People loved that guy. His family may not know about it, but you can't make fun of us. We care about Sean Taylor. So much that it's a rush ceremony to hell and back. They even corralled a dude who needs to be beaten heavily to where Taylor's number is painted and he did a TikTok dance to generate clicks. It's infuriating, yes, but don't blame the irrelevant Mahomes for being a douche. Blame the Reskins for the rush job and the disorganization. That's why I consider them the lol cow of the week. Never stop being a snake, Dan. Sell a fucking team. Welcome to Lambeau, where dreams are shattered and the drink flows because there's nothing better to do up there for over 40 weeks of the year. Yes, Green Bay may be cruising heading into the second half against the Washington Emails, but Taylor Heineke grew up a Packers fan. He models his game after Brett Favre. His dream was to one day do the hallowed Lambeau Leap, and his wish was granted. Down by 7 on the opposing team. One quick lesson, Taylor. If you're gonna do that, make sure you're in the fucking end zone beforehand. New NFL rules say that Heineke was giving himself up, and as a result was down before he crossed the goal line. Fucking hilarious. For the second time in the day, Washington came up like Favre on most comeback drives. Just short. The Packers may have won the game easily, but Taylor Heineke wins something greater. Lol Cow of the Week. Consider the Lambeau Leap part of a Make-A-Wish campaign. 2 terrible teams. One main goal in mind for both. Which squad can fuck up less? If you were to look on the surface, you'd think this was one of those legendary defensive showdowns of the 70s. The offense was that putrid from both teams. Checkdowns on long yardage situations. Blocked field goals. Interceptions on Hail Mary passes. Missed field goals, more blocked field goals. Both teams want to lose this match so badly, yet are consistently outclassed by their opponents in this endeavor. The sad part is neither is really trying to. It's effortless ineptitude. The deadliest execution of all. This is both beautiful and agonizing to witness at the same time. Sloppy-ass football is a pet passion of mine. We must embrace the failure as Denver unfortunately scores a touchdown. Washington tries to advance from city block to city block. They know that their season will be in danger if they lose, but Denver's defense turns up the heat at the goal line. Either that or the Reskins remember that offense is illegal in their code of law. I think 4th down just confirmed it. We can finally put a bullet in this fucking game. Thank God. Just burn the damn clock and go home before. Are you fucking kidding me? Why does Denver want to lose this game so badly? It's the Reskins! Just give them the pointless menial tasks to prevent them from ruining anything! Good thing they did enough of that by themselves. Broncos somehow get back to 500 and foolish playoff aspirations are still intact. Ugly football. It'll be forgotten in a week, but it's a necessary virtue of the world. One that I cherish ever so dearly. Washington is such an aggravating franchise. Everything's going to shit, yet what is their response? Cutting their kicker for the wildly inaccurate Joey Sly and making them practice during their bye week. I have no idea what Riverboat Ron is thinking, but his actions somehow worked. Ideally, Tampa Bay would walk into FedEx and crush a job squad that's going to be without the wonderful Fitzception as he's fallen into a quantum warp. This is, however, not taking into account the Bucs' injuries at wideout and a defense devastated by a plague in the infirmary. The ultimate equalizer. Tom Brady looked quite mortal today. Some could say it's due to him not having his usual weapons. Some argue it's the reskin defense finally playing up to potential. Whatever the case, the football team, one of perpetually half-full stadiums, Chase Young's season being finished and Dan Snyder still being tone-deaf, did what seems to be a weekly occurrence these days and allowed sportsbooks across America to reap the benefits of another upset win. With Heineke under center, Washington gets the revenge for the wildcard game. Now, only if this had happened last January, we may have been saved from Tampa's might. Life is returning to normal for Panthers fans. Super Cam has come home. It felt weird seeing him in a Patriots uniform. It's a chance to correct a past mistake. And he's rejuvenated not only a city, but perhaps an entire league. This also signals Riverboat Ron's return to Carolina after being fired, but no one gives a shit about that. This day is about Cam Newton and Cam Newton alone. Yes, the game may be neck and neck, but the Panthers are playing competitive, and they're doing everything they can against Washington. Unfortunately, the problem for them was in another former Carolina Panther, Taylor Heineke. He balled out in what could be considered his grudge game. He had played them in 2020, but he was a substitute in garbage time. Now he's playing out of his goddamn mind. He's led the Redacted to a 3-point lead, and the defense will do the rest. Be baffled at the Panthers going for it on 4th down at their own 30, but it was an outstanding play to keep McCaffrey away from the chains. It's enough for Washington to play spoiler. Cam Newton's glorious return is a piss parade. The football team survives an onslaught as Riverboat Ron gets the last laugh. Not that it's going to get any easier, but the NFC is really wide open. Monday Night Football always gets the matchups that look okay in August, but are garbage tier by game time. Both of these teams don't deserve to be anywhere near the playoffs this season, but they're still holding out hope that they won't spew diarrhea like a FedEx Field sewage pipe bursting. for the second time in 3 months. Ron Rivera's game plan worked to perfection. For about 4 quarters, we watched grass grow on the field. Washington put Seattle to sleep by simply holding onto the ball for as long as possible. It was working, too. Chef Russ's offense is fucking putrid. You sure it was a good idea to bring Russell Wilson back so early? He's either not fully healthy or I don't want to consider other options. The only highlight of the first half was on an extra point. A blocked field goal scooped up and ran back for a 2-point conversion by the same man. A fat man hat trick. Bless the gods for this bounty, for it's the only offense Seattle will have most of the game. The Seahawks had 5 3-and-outs and 1 first down well into the fucking second half. They're lucky that Washington is down their kicker thanks to said greatest play ever. As they strangle life away in the fourth quarter, they can't kick a field goal to seal the deal. So 4th downs will have to be converted. Do they get into the end zone near the goal line? Hell no, we need last-minute drama. Chef Russ then becomes the kid who forgets to do a homework assignment, so he rushes everything while eating breakfast before he gets on the goddamn bus in the morning, and voila!
Wilson throwing. Got a man wide open.
The kid who did the bare minimum got it done. But there was one problem.
Wilson. All sorts of time. Throws. And it is intercepted.
There were questions on the back. Too late for Seattle. And a recovered onside kick that didn't travel far enough confirmed it. Seahawks, you thought your season was all but over last week? This game was the dagger. For the NFC, we now have a new 7th seed in the playoff race. The football team. The NFC is that top-heavy? You will never convince me that adding a 7th seed was a good idea for the NFL. The coin is life. The coin is divine. The coin is the truth and the light. It has predicted every Raiders game correctly to this point in time, and it predicts that they will be victorious against the Reskins at Allegiant Stadium. It's a relatively quiet affair to begin matters. Both teams are merely probing at each other. They both search for weak points throughout the enemy's hardened exterior. It's almost a stalemate headed into the second half, but then the first strike. A briskly efficient drive by Taylor Heineke and Washington to expand their lead to 8. But with their attack, they've exposed a weak point, and the Raiders will counter with everything they've got. The black hole will sound from the depths of hell to score another touchdown, but unfortunately fail on the 2-point conversion. They must believe in the power of the coin, and they will be zealous in their fervor as an interception by the miracle of Nate Hobbs gives them more life. The clock is slowly ticking, and the autumn wind attempts to break through Washington's defenses, but they cannot. They must settle on a field goal to lead by 1. The name redacted's backs against the wall, Taylor Heineke plays with a fury rivaled by few. His efficient passing and exposing of the soft underbelly of the defense gets them into field goal range. But it's a long one.
And sneaks it through.
Not too bad for a new kicker off the street. Woe be the legend of the coin, for its time in the meme world was short but beautiful nonetheless. The heretic coin has lied to us all. From this point forward, all great philosophers will reject the prophecy of the coin. They now worship the prophecy of the football team. It's actually damn good. Dallas is waltzing into this matchup in an insanely arrogant manner. Mike McCarthy guaranteed that not only would he be carried to relevance by talent, he guaranteed victory against name redacted. It's easy to feel confident when the team brings their own heated benches to FedEx Field because Dan Snyder doesn't give a fuck about upgrading or maintaining stadium infrastructure. He also doesn't seem to care about anything about his team showing up to the game or not, as Dallas is undergoing a transformation into their final form. One that feasts on their inferior NFC East prey. Dak may be on a month-long slump from his usual standard, but that doesn't mean the Cowboy defense can't fuck everything up for Washington. Taylor Heineke is Jekyll and Hyde personified. One day you'll get the good form. Today you get complete fucking garbage. With said relentless defensive pressure, it turns into a laughable 24-0 shitfest by halftime. But don't you dismiss this game for a goddamn minute because Dallas chose to take their foot off the fucking gas. Washington has a chip on their shoulder. And don't you forget that. A furious comeback into the hope is all we can hope for at this point. With Dak throwing pick sixes like this, it's a reality. It doesn't matter if Taylor Heineke is hobbled and forced to leave the game for Kyle Allen, formerly of the Carolina Panthers. He has a shot to lead them on a final drive to victory.
Pressure, Allen in trouble, throws it, that might be a fumble, it's loose, it's picked up by Dallas!
It would be nice if Washington's O-line could block. So much for the comeback. Fortunately, the NFC is pretty shit, so the Reskins still hold the 7th seed. They somehow control their own destiny. fucked up to think. We can all agree this year has been insanely fucked for the NFL. Most games like the last one we recap feel like they're on some kind of drug cocktail. It's exhausting to follow this league some weeks. The only benefit is in memes fresh out of the oven. You thought it couldn't get worse. An old friend has reemerged onto the scene. Corona-chan is back from her lengthy vacation and wreaking havoc on every sports league throughout America. The NFL has felt her wrath hard. You may have noticed all the coughing last week. It was for good reason. Over 150 cases in the league over a 5-day span. It's not Pokemon to catch. Coronavirus is running a train throughout multiple organizations. Cleveland and the Rams have over 25 players in COVID protocol. Washington has over 20. Other teams like the Bears, Texans, and Lions are getting wrecked as well. 8 teams are in enhanced COVID protocols. This is the worst case scenario we were fearing last season, and we're seeing it happen in front of our eyes. The NFLPA pleaded with the league for games to be postponed, but of course they waited until the last moment. In a shocker, the Shield cared more about game integrity than cold hard cash. The Saturday Browns and Raiders tilt has been pushed to Monday. Seahawks versus Rams and Reskins versus Eagles have been rescheduled for Tuesday. We have it again in doubleheader form, boys! Tuesday Night Football! Any chance we can get a Wednesday night game? For all the glorious memes? This is the deal that Dan Snyder made all those years ago. He gave up everything to keep his precious football team. Any consistent winning, any positive fortune or good luck, out the window. The Reskins will be mocked at every opportunity. Their attempts at success will be foiled by division rivals, especially as... boys? It'd be a good idea not to taunt your opponent with flying in your own team benches just because another team did it to you. You pull that shit, you better be able to back it up. When you're forced to pick Garrett Gilbert off the waiver wire because you have no healthy QBs, it's not a good sign. It may have been against a battered opponent, but Philadelphia looked somewhat respectable. They cunningly and methodically ground their opponent into dust. Jalen Hurts passed with some efficiency, and his receivers responded in kind. It was far from perfect, but they did what they had to do. Don't forget their end-of-year schedule is relatively soft. They technically control their own destiny. All they have to do is take out the trash and beat Dallas. Are you ready, Philly? False hope is about to consume you. Oh my God! If you ever wanted a history lesson about manifest destiny, this is pretty close to what it was like. So the Reskins still want to try their stunt of flying in their own benches. That's nice. How about we take a closer look at that skeleton of yours as Dallas rips it right out of your skin? The Reskins were merely being imposters on the open plain while the Cowboys shot them all and burned everything to the ground. Washington put up next to no resistance against a relentless offensive attack. Hell, they put up more of a fight against each other on the fucking sidelines. There are decimations of medieval villages, and then there is whatever the fuck Jerry's horde just unleashed upon the world. It felt like years of pent-up aggression towards an ancient blood feud. This game was done before the first snap, but Dallas does not give a shit. Jesus Christ, Cowboys, they've been dead for 45 minutes! All you're doing is pounding their disintegrated corpse into dust. The only thing you had to do was break your sewage pipes above their sidelines for irony's sake. But this is next level rage. Boys, while your bloodlust is still causing you to destroy everything in sight, here's an NFC East to lord over. God help us all. We are all apparently supposed to feel bad because Washington's been dealing with some real life shit. Bitch, you think your real life shit is notable? Go join the Raiders. They'll tell you all about the tribulations of their season. Do any of us believe Philadelphia gives a damn? Do you think they'll play nice because of a few misfortunes? Fuck you, they're bringing their own benches this time. They've got playoffs to shoot for, baby. The Eagles may be down 2 scores at half, but didn't the Reskins know that they're going to lie down and die? It's been in their DNA for roughly 20 years. Trust me, no one's going to feel bad when Washington eventually loses this match. All the shit ownership's pulled this year, both off the field and on top of their fans. Are you in any wonder why Jalen Hurts is playing a quietly efficient game? It'll be enough to give Philly a 1-point lead, but here's where their defense comes in, forcing a critical turnover to help the Eagles fans that made the trip down feel happy in life. But it's not enough. Washington still isn't dead yet. Heineke hasn't gotten it through his thick skull that destiny awaits the Eagles. Let's change that for him.
Heineke looking end zone, and it is intercepted by Rodney McLeod. crowd.
That's more like it. This calls for celebration. Think Dan Snyder would try to spend money to not turn FedEx Field into a metal death trap?
Washington reskins eliminated.
The culture is actually damn good.
Giants fucking suck. They suck even more since they're not only forced to start Jake from State Farm due to injuries. New York is allowing Dave Gettleman to retire with dignity. The dude who has done nothing but fuck up since he's been brought back into the fold. But it's okay, everyone. They're a family. They can get smashed to bits by a decrepit Washington franchise, but at least nobody's feelings were hurt. The football team may have fallen into a pit of despair and real-life shit, but they get somewhat of a decent cap off to a season that was as broken as FedEx Field. Yes, New York is a terribly run franchise that somehow makes the Jets look competent, but we should consider the positives of such shittiness. Where would we be without the Giants running a quarterback sneak on a 3rd and 9 near their own end zone? Somewhere without fantastic memes, I'll tell you that. God, this team sucks so much ass you could call it Liberace. This has been a season. So many twists and turns that it's hard to conceive with the naked eye. If you were looking at this year seriously, it was absolutely exhausting. But do you know the true bounty to cherish? The memes. It was fucking gold for this economy. Thanks to incredible collapses, fantastic comebacks, Urban Meyer's coaching tenure, and whatever the fuck Antonio Brown did in the Jets game. Dan Snyder is still majority owner of the team. That's all I need to say about this pathetic franchise. However, that's not fun. We need something to overtake the misfortunes and disappointments of the on-field product. Fitzception going down to injury in the first game, forcing them to overexpose Taylor Heineke to a national audience. The team defense going from stout to suspect faster than the team's past pride vanished. Note that this was before the shitty home field turf sacrificed key players' knees. The year was depressing, and showed in an underwhelming finish. Yes, Washington did deal with some real-life shit, but the real problems lie around them. Quite literally around them. FedEx Field is symbolic of Snyder's reign. A hollow shell of clinging to past glory, spewing shit on top of anyone that dares breathe in his presence. A screaming concrete death trap to both fan and player alike. A home as shoddy, rushed, and pathetic as Sean Taylor's jersey retirement ceremony that totally wasn't done to try and cover up a massive email scandal. Every move that sniveling coward of an owner has done since 2020 is to beg to not sell the team. And that includes the new name of the franchise, the Commanders. Bland, sterile, and soulless. It's exactly what Snyder wants. Get the attention away from how he runs things. Do not gaze behind the curtain, look at what's on the field! On second thought, don't do that. You might tear your ACL by proxy.